Hi, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Friday, which means another crypto interest rates and news update. Today is the 30th of October 2020. Now, hopefully this will record. I just recorded the whole video and then my recording software crashed and I lost it all. So fingers crossed it will record correctly this time. But as always, we'll start by taking a look at any new coins or changes to interest rates. Now, last weekend I did go through and updated all the Celsius ones. There tend to be very small kind of like tweaks to some of these kind of rates, almost on a weekly or 2 weekly basis sometimes. So I've gone through and updated those. Hopefully they are all correct now. But the big news this week is Nexo. So the base rate for cryptos was 4% up to 5%. If you own 10% or more of your portfolio value in Nexo tokens, it's gone from 5 to 6%. And then in addition, they've launched this earn in Nexo, and we'll talk about this a little bit more detail in a minute, but you get an extra 2% on top of what you were earning previously. I should probably add an extra column in here. So if you were just on the base rate, you'd be getting 7%. These are the maximum rates, so I'll put an extra column just to reflect that. And similarly on stable coins, again, the rates have gone up on that as well. Pax Gold, the only one that is same price as the cryptocurrencies rather than stable coins. But the nice thing about Nexo is that no matter which cryptocurrency you're in, you're getting the same rate for everything. You don't need to think, as you do with some of these other ones, look at the difference in prices between Bitcoin, Ethereum, other kind of coins. We've got Stellar here and EOS and stuff like that. With Nexo, the nice thing is that it's a one rate for all of those cryptos, and then one rate for each of the stable coins. But we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a minute. Let's go and have a look at the token prices. And as you can see here, the changes that Nexo have made have resulted in a nice increase, almost 12% increase in the price of the Nexo token over the last 7 days. Celsius is flat, basically just down 0.7%, so pretty flat over the week. A lot of coins are down a little bit in the last 24 to 48 hours. So Celsius flat, but Crypto.com down another 12.6%, continuing to kind of bleed out. Now, obviously, we talked about this at length over the last sort of month or so. The decreases in price of CRO prompted a lot of people to sell off their CRO, which pushed the prices down. I think Crypto.com then kind of panicked a little bit. They started making changes to things which I don't think they necessarily should have so quickly. They've boosted up the token requirements, the CRO token requirements for coins, for cards rather. Sorry. So they've boosted the requirements for cards by 2.5 times. So a card that required 1,000 CRO now requires 2,500. And they were trying to get people to kind of lock their CRO back into the kind of system. They've also removed some cashback perks from the cards, stuff like that. There's a lot of controversy on the Crypto.com subreddit about stuff that was eligible before, like insurance payouts and tax payments, now being excluded from the kind of cashback. And then they've lengthened the amount of time that it takes to get your syndicate events. So these, rather than being weekly, and now sort of probably every sort of 3 weeks, the amount of collateral put up for those has decreased as well. So overall, quite a negative time for those invested into the kind of the Crypto.com kind of ecosystem, and we've seen the price of CRO reflect that. Now, I think this will continue to go down. I think the other thing that people haven't maybe realising, a few people are going, oh, it's reached a bottom now, it's reached a bottom, but I think it will continue to go down. And I think that's because the MCO, when people holding MCO tokens were forced to sell for CRO, I think a lot of people were upset about that and will want to sell those off. But that locked basically a lot of the 180 days staking in the exchange. So when we get nearer to those kind of like dates, I'll let you know. But I think that's still a little bit away. But I can see a big flood of CRO onto the market when the enforced kind of MCO to CRO swap actually expires. So we'll see what happens, but I could see this going down to sort of 5 cents, maybe a fraction under 5 cents over the next kind of month or so. On more positive news, Nexonomics. So this was announced midweek. I'll let you read through. I'll put links to all of these in the description below as always. So you read here, the next big thing is a series of things. So basically there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to announce over the next kind of weeks and months. But the first one was this increase in interest rates with earn up and earn in Nexo. But there will be more things coming as well. So hopefully that will also have a positive effect on the price of the Nexo token. So as we mentioned before, this is the first part of Nexonomics. So we have two different parts to this. Earn up, so that's the new base rate being 5% and 6% when 10% of your holdings are in Nexo tokens, and that was up 1% from 4 and 5%. But also this one, so earn in Nexo, this is very much like Celsius. So if you choose to earn in Celsius on the Celsius platform, you get higher interest rates, and it's the same with Nexo now. If you choose to be paid out in Nexo for your interest, and that's not just on Nexo, that's on other coins. So if you choose to get your Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else paid in Nexo, you will get 2% more interest. So that puts you up to a maximum of 8% on cryptocurrencies and up to 12% on stable coins and fiat. So that's quite nice. Now, the one difference between Celsius is Nexo tokens entitle you to dividends, so a twice yearly dividend, whereas the Celsius token actually earns interest itself. So it'll be interesting to see when some people actually do the maths, whether it's better to earn in Nexo kind of tokens and take those kind of dividends, what that will pay out compared to actually just taking advantage of the new slightly higher rates, but getting that kind of compounded over time. So we're interested to see what happens with that. Undoubtedly, a lot of people will be looking into this in the weeks and months ahead. But if you want to read a little bit more about Nexonomics, the broader context, this is what they're talking about with these changes to the Nexo kind of token and the economy around it. You can read this article here, and I'll put links, as I mentioned, in the description below. Now, moving on to BlockFi, I got this email, I think it was earlier today, might have been yesterday, about basically bonus BTC. So you can earn some bonus BTC up to 0.5% of your trading volume through to the end of November. So it's live now, it will finish at the end of November. But basically there's different tiers up to, there's 6 tiers up to, and the largest tier, $1 million plus in trading volume, you get 0.5% bonus in BTC. But even if you're trading a small amount, up to $10,000, 0.2% paid back. Now, I'm not necessarily suggesting you do that. I swapped a couple of things just on a couple of occasions in BlockFi, and I don't think the exchange rates are necessarily that great all the time. Although they advertise themselves as having no fees, I think the fees are basically just baked into the exchange rates. And when I last changed something, it was slightly worse rates than I could have got on a large exchange like kind of Binance or something like that. So if you are on the platform, you want to move some stuff, good time to do it before the end of November, but do take a look at the rates you're getting compared to the large exchanges. And then moving on to Crypto.com, we've been pretty negative about a lot of their kind of stuff recently, which I think has been warranted largely. But I got an email which was quite nice today to say that the first supercharger event, which was Uniswap, has now ended, and I could go in and accept the uni that I earned. Now I had just under about 10,000, just under 10,000 CRO locked up for about 2 weeks, and it was after the changes in interest rates that I actually sold that. So I withdrew it from the supercharger event and sold that, which I'm glad I have now. So I probably had the equivalent of about 5,000 in for the entire period, and I've gained some uni. They haven't been deposited into my account yet, but you can go and accept them. I presume they'll be coming into accounts in the next kind of 30 days. So I believe you receive a little bit every day for the next 30 days within this kind of acceptance period. But you have to go in and accept that, and I presume then the coins will start trickling in. Now the next one is Polkadot, so that is now in the charging period. If you have unlocked a CRO and you're a bit more bullish about the price than me, you are welcome to kind of lock it up in the supercharger event. You can move stuff in and out whenever you want supercharger. It's not like the syndicate or an earn state where it gets locked up for a certain amount of time. And there's a 30 days, so we're just a fraction under the 30 days. It's been live for a few hours now. For Polkadot, so only $250,000 allocation compared to $500,000 for a uni, which was the first one. And Polkadot coincidentally is also the next coin which is going to be on the syndicate event, and again only a $250,000 US as opposed to $500,000, which has been all the previous events. It doesn't start for 10 days, and as I mentioned, it takes like a full week. So if you have your CRO locked in the supercharger, you're moving them over to the syndicate to benefit in this and moving them back. They will be out of the system for over 7 days. I think it's about 10 days all in all now, rather than the sort of like 4 or 5 days that it used to be. So let me know in the comments below what you think about the Nexonomics. Let me know what you think about their rate changes and potentially anything else they'll be launching in the next few months. And I'm also interested to hear your thoughts on Crypto.com. What do you think is going to happen to the price of CRO? Do you think it's going to continue to go down? Do you think we've reached a local kind of bottom and we might see some improvements from here? Let me know if you're bullish on Crypto.com. Most of the stuff that I'm reading about is pretty kind of bearish. I have to say it's pretty negative. I think the way they handle things is pretty poor. I think their communication is pretty poor, and I think they often have a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to things. So something, the price of CRO going down because of something they did, and then there's a knee-jerk reaction, then they increase the amount of CRO for cards, then they start knocking off some of the cashbacks and stuff like that. Seems like a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, which is shooting themselves in the foot a bit, because as you can see here, look at this 7-day kind of like graph, and we looked at 30-day graph, it would be more. Every time it seems to have leveled off after a slump, something else happens and there's another slump, and then it levels off and then something else happens and there's another slump. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on Crypto.com, as well as obviously the more positive stuff coming out of Nexo this week. Thanks very much for watching, as always. I really do appreciate it. If you give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Hope you're all keeping well. Hopefully I will see you on the next video, but until then, have a great day. Bye bye.